to today's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Chad Sluss, Executive Director for NEFA. Thanks for joining me, Chad.
Hey, no problem. Happy to be here, Jesse.
No, absolutely, man. And did I get that title right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have two titles, and we're looking to make some bylaw changes later this year, so we'll get that cleaned up. Yeah, it's technically Executive Director and CEO, but we'll get it sorted out.
Okay,
yeah, no worries. No worries. No offense at all.
That question ahead of time, but Chad, thanks again for joining me. For those people who might not have had the privilege of meeting you yet, you mind just kind of talking a little bit about your background and everything?
Sure. So I spent the majority of my career in the association industry. So I started my career with Aramark Corporation in marketing, working in the food service industry. And after a few years, realized that wasn't really for me, and went back to get my master's degree here in Michigan, and ended up getting a job with a nonprofit, and really enjoyed the nonprofit sector in the industry. Had a great executive director and mentor I was working for, and she kind of steered me in the direction of mid-level management if I wanted to pursue that career path. And that took me to the State Bar of Michigan, and then I ran a construction association after that for a few years, right before the crash. Then moved on from there during the crash to an international legal association called Primaris. Worked there for 13 years, and then had this itch to get back into the executive director CEO role, and that's where I landed with NEFA. So I've been here almost a year now, which it's crazy how fast it's going.
So what was the appeal of NEFA, like the equipment leasing industry? Did you know anyone beforehand, or?
No, I didn't know anything about the industry. I was looking at the opportunity with the position, really, to run a small to medium-sized association. And once I got into it and started looking at it, it was very appealing, just because I've worked primarily in the middle market my whole career, and that really fits me. I have a family. My uncle runs a chain of college bookstores in the middle market. So I've worked for his company for a number of years, and sort of that fabric was sort of within me, working in this small to medium-sized environment of companies. And that's what really appealed me to the organization. Started the interview process and last summer, and ended up landing the job in August and started September 1st. So it's been a great ride so far.
No, that's great. And I was on the board, I think, for 4 or 5 years previously. And I remember we were hiring an executive director at the time, and just that interviewing process, and you get a huge pool of candidates. Majority of them are from the industry, which is more, I would say, positive than negative, because it's all about the relationships you have with your members, especially NEFA, right? It's so tight knit.
Right, exactly.
Coming in with no relationships whatsoever and going through that process, I can imagine that was a little bit interesting.
It was, and truth be told, I actually interviewed for this job 2.5 years ago before, and I went through that process initially, made it to the final round through the process, and obviously it was meant to be for me to be here. So that's how I look at it.
Well, that's fantastic. And then Darren's a great guy, and he'll never shoot you astray. That's for sure.
Definitely. Our entire board and our leadership and all the volunteers, and just I've made it a point to try and reach out to all of our members and at least do a check-in, just with a call or an email, just to make sure that we're here for them. We're here to support them, especially during this pandemic. And everyone I've spoken to is great. I mean, everyone's just trying to grind it out, if you will, and keep pivoting and adjust and navigate this crazy time that we're all in. But fingers crossed, hopefully we're coming out of it. So we're keeping an eye on the variant, obviously, but hopefully we can keep plowing ahead and offering opportunities for our members to meet in person, which is what everyone's been craving.
Absolutely. Well, not only that, though, it's like you guys had a big void to fill with Kim King. I mean,
right.
She was in that role that now Blair is doing an awesome job at, but she was in that role, I don't know, I got in the industry in 2005 and she was already there.
Right. I think she was here 12 or 13 years, somewhere along, at least 10, if not 12 years, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So not only fill in that role, but basically you guys had to do an entire staff turnover. So.
Right. Right. And Blair is coming up on 2 years with NEFA. She oversees our programs and marketing. We just made a new hire, brought in this young lady, Kale Tissue. She's going to be our member services coordinator. That's her role. And she just started a few weeks ago and she's already jumped right in. We divided up the membership last week and she's made calls and sent emails out to the membership encouraging attendance at our upcoming events and participation. So she's already a great addition to our team.
Well, I guess since you brought that up, like, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here.
That's okay. No worries.
Let's talk about those upcoming events. What do you got?
Yeah. So we, let me go back for just a moment. So last fall, after I joined, we had to, one thing I observed was we weren't offering a lot of opportunities for our members to connect. So we launched some virtual programming at the time, a series that Blair and I worked on and launched. And that worked well. We were getting our members together. And then we had a holiday meetup in December. And what I observed there, what Blair and I both observed was our members were just craving to see each other and connect and just have conversations about anything under the sun. So what we did is we launched in January what we're calling the Virtual Exchange Series, which is a 90-minute call every month with 60 minutes of education and 30 minutes of networking. So what we learned in December, we applied to our series moving forward, and just gives people a forum to connect and meet up periodically virtually, because we know our companies within membership are small to medium size in nature, and obviously we haven't been able to travel for so long. So we had to offer opportunities outside of just in-person connections. So we did the best we could with that. Then we moved to, had to make a decision in March to launch our virtual finance summit in place of our in-person event. So that was a very good success. We had almost 300 people participate with us over that 2-day series. And then we continued to keep moving forward with just some fun activities like a tequila tasting in May with a mixologist, which was cool. We're planning a wine tasting event virtual in the fall on top of all of our other events. But in June, we finally got back in person with our June 3rd Crab Feast that we had in Baltimore, which has been a long-standing event within NEFA. Had about 50 or 55 attendees show up for that. A few weeks later, we went to Minneapolis for a Midwest meetup. Normally in February, we have our ice fishing event, and we had to cancel that due to COVID. So we wanted to do something else for our Midwest and Minnesota contingent. So we planned that June 16th event, and that's where I had the opportunity to meet you at your equipment finance cares event, which was very nice, by the way. And then other upcoming events. So next week, we have our Kansas City Royals and Yankees game in Kansas City, August 9th.
Say hi.
Oh, hi. Who is this?
This is Smokes. He's a little kitten.
That's a fluffy kitten.
Paying attention, he'll just sit there and just paw at me until. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No worries. What else do we have? August 17th, we have our Lake Minnetonka dinner cruise. And then we're moving into our October conference, which I'm so excited about our conference in the fall, our funding symposium, October 13th through 15th. We have a theme, reimagine everything. And our committee has done a phenomenal job really doing that, applying that theme to how we're organizing our conference. And we've secured a gentleman by the name of Raja Rajamanar, who is the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at MasterCard. He's also the president of their healthcare business. And then he'll be our day one keynote. And then our day two closing keynote speaker is Calvin Stovall, who's the CEO and chief enthusiast, as he calls himself, for iconic presentations. And his presentation will be on how to stand out and be iconic in a marketplace. So, I mean, we're trying to bookend our conference with two really good keynote presenters. And then in between, We have our normal networking plan. The exhibit hall will be open, hoping to get to about 70 exhibitors this year,
Nice.
and maybe grow that in the future, hopefully. And then we have 9 concurrent sessions planned, 3 per hour in the afternoon on Thursday. And then we're going to have a blowout party at Fahrenheit Charlotte, which is this rooftop restaurant where we're going to have a dinner in conjunction with the Chris Walker Education Fund and do a little fundraiser there. So in the past, I guess, what happened is we would have a reception Thursday night, and then everyone would sort of splinter off and go out to dinner on their own. And being from the association industry, I'm really keen on keeping our group together and just creating those bonds of opportunities for networking and relationship building. So we built that into our plan this year. So we'll have our Wednesday night reception, Thursday night reception and dinner, and then we'll finish up early Friday morning. And then people can catch their flights and get home to see their families by evening time, even afternoon probably.
Well, I mean, it's a lot on the plate, and that's fantastic. I know I'm itching to get down to Charlotte for that event. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna round out the year with 2 November events. In the past, we had an Angels game for our California contingent, and we just had to make the decision over the summertime with California opening a little bit slower than some of the other states, and just with this variant situation that we wanted to just make sure the event was going to be a success. So we talked to one of our local members who's helped organize that in the past, Amy Sprague, and just came to the conclusion that we should probably forego organizing that Angels game this summer and maybe look to do it next summer. So instead, we're going to do a meetup in LA, Orange County area in November. And then we're going to do a New York sort of Northeast corridor tastings event in November as well.
Nice.
That'll round out our in-person events this year, which we have a full plate, but people are itching to get back in person.
Yeah, no, and then obviously with this being such a tight-knit industry, like it's almost been a year, right? Like, talk about that in regards to not being in front of people and still being able to forge these relationships.
It's been challenging. We've taken the approach that we are sending out, we're really trying to over communicate with our membership to offer value and opportunities to connect with our members or connect our members one-on-one. So going back for just a moment, what I mentioned earlier, we started moving towards this virtual programming this past fall, and we've continued that moving forward. We've also launched our NEFA Note e-newsletter. We launched that in January, just as a communication tool to stay in front of our membership. And honestly, this kind of gets into some of the short and long-term goals, but we are, it sort of dovetails into this part of our conversation. We are in the process and very close to launching some new systems, which we're very excited about. We're going to be launching a new website soon, our new CRM system, which will have an enhanced member community, which will allow our members to connect virtually. It's going to have a much more robust search directory than what we currently have. It's going to have a learning management system where we can upload all of our content and educational materials. Members can share best practices materials there. We're going to have a discussion board in that tool in the community. And then we're moving to a new event management tool that'll make it easier for our members to register for events. So, I mean, all those things are sort of big picture ways in which we can have our members connect and get value out of the membership. And I'm big on offering more value and sort of showing what we can do as an organization. And my long-term goals, frankly, are to enhance the value proposition through new member benefits, new opportunities for our members to connect, through virtual programming. My long-term goal is to organize our membership by region and actually have regional groups that can do some localized programming. We're looking to launch some new committees so that our members can volunteer and get connected. And that's also a great forum for us to find our future leaders on the board of directors. So all those things are sort of in motion right now, but that's sort of our big picture goals. And right now, this year, we're just trying to maintain our membership and grow a little. But my 5-year plan, honestly, is to increase our membership by 20% year over year, just because I think there's a lot of opportunities in this marketplace.
Yeah, I would think I like that tactical approach that you're taking, because obviously that side of the industry extremely well. And I want to say, no offense against the people we've had in there in the past, I don't think they've had that experience. So now it's just getting to know the membership and then just going from there. But I know there's several people that have joined, they're in, they're out, they're in. And then if you continue to build the value prop, what you're doing, and get them all back in.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to have a revolving door. I mean, that to me is a red flag that the value isn't there. And I heard in the past from Kim King and others that, you know, people would join right before a conference and then they wouldn't renew their membership. Well, we have to offer value in between our two anchor conferences, which is what we're trying to do with this virtual programming, our publications, our community that we're building out within our new CRM system. I mean, all those things offer value. It may not be value for each individual member, but each member has their own needs and wants. Yeah. And if we offer sort of a broad-based package of benefits and services, I think we will get there over time and our retention has been solid over the last 10 or 12 years. It's been in the upper, low to mid 90% retention. So, I mean, there's some solid members that have been with us long term. But if you can make those incremental changes with the value proposition, you can move those retention numbers from, let's say, 92, 93% upwards of 95%. And once you're getting into 300, we're currently at 315 member companies, 1 percentage point is significant.
Oh, no, absolutely. And plus with the influx of newer people that are entering the marketplace,
correct.
Making sure that they're aware of the association. I guess I kind of missed that point earlier. So maybe we'll just talk real quick on NEFA's mission.
Sure.
DPT.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I know you've talked a lot about it, and majority of people know, but just for new entrants to the marketplace, I guess, just talk about your mission and then what type of organizations that we have as members.
Sure. So, I mean, our mission statement is to cultivate the growth of our members in the commercial equipment finance industry through education and networking. So it's a pretty broad-based mission statement, but I think it's spot on with what we're trying to do. So we're anchoring our value proposition through education and networking. And the organization's done a phenomenal job of that over the years. My role, and I guess my approach, is just to make incremental changes to what's been done in the past, not change anything that's working, obviously. I just want to offer more value with our team and our leadership to the membership. Our membership types, there's really 3 types of members within the organization. About half our members fall into the broker, lessor, originator category. And then a third of our members are in the funding source category. And the other third is the service provider. So, and the service providers are technology companies, accounting firms, law firms, et cetera. Any company that services this industry and supports our brokers and our funders.
Excellent. And then you mentioned earlier the Chris Walker Fund. I want to make sure we just touch on that real quick. For people.
Sure. Yeah, so Chris Walker was a member of the organization for many years. He was on the board of directors, and he passed away a number of years ago. And some of our members just absolutely loved him and wanted to keep the legacy of Chris Walker sort of front and center. So we launched, the members at the time launched this initiative where there's fundraising activities throughout the year, and then a committee manages that fund, and they issue grants to members that express interest in educational activities. So they submit a request. If their grant is approved, we then issue a payment either to the company or to the individual for their educational activity they've signed up for and participated in. And a lot of those opportunities fall within the CLFP Foundation.
Now, I knew Chris pretty well. Actually, there was one time where we flew in at the same time, and he rented a car, and I learned a new trick from him, where you always keep $100 bill stashed somewhere in your wallet where you don't access it, but it's an emergency fund just in case you need it. And it's a life lesson still learn.
That's a great lesson. That's something that I'll have to apply, because I don't do that. Usually my kids are taking the money out of my wallet. I never know where it goes.
Well, and it was like something where it's like, oh, we had to pay for parking and there was no ATM or just something. You just never know when that presents itself. But
definitely.
Yeah, no, he was a great guy. Just an unfortunate situation. But.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to meet him, but I've heard great stories about him. And I'm here to support the Chris Walker Education Fund. It's not a formal foundation. We've not moved in that direction, I don't think, and I'm not sure if the committee wants to go down that path. If it continues to grow, maybe. But our team here is poised to serve and support them. So, and it was great. We had a call with Randy Haug from LTI several months ago. Started broaching the subject of how we could team up because the CWEF at our October conference would always hold some sort of fundraising activity on Thursday night during the conference. So I thought, how can we make this work so we can connect and partner on that Thursday night event so that we can have everyone stay together but still support Chris Walker Education Fund. And we've arrived at that, and now we're teaming up, and there's going to be some fundraising activities there to support their initiative at that dinner.
Nice. And we'll make sure the equipment finance care stuff continues to support that as well.
No, it's great. And I think Blair from our team is going to be going to your August event over in New Jersey. So, and I just recommended it to someone recently I was talking to. So trying to promote and support you guys as well.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that very much. And then I ask everyone who comes on here a little fun fact about themselves.
Yeah, so I had to think about this. I guess I have two that I'll share if I can.
Sure.
Number one, I've had the opportunity to travel abroad significantly with my last organization. So the organization, when I joined, 13 plus years ago, had members in the United States and Canada. And about year 3 or year 4 with that organization, we made the decision to expand internationally. And with that brought a lot of travel opportunities. So I've had the opportunity with that organization to travel to over 22, 23 countries,
nice.
Which has been phenomenal. I've been to India, I've been to Asia Pacific region, to Australia, China, where else? Singapore multiple times. It's just Hong Kong and Latin America. We had an annual event there that I would go down to. So I had the opportunity to go to Bogota, to Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Mexico City, Costa Rica, and then Europe. I was going to Europe several times a year. So I absolutely love traveling. I used to hate to fly early in my career, and I had to get over that real quick with my last job. But my wife and I, she's been able to go to Europe with me a few times on business when I've been on my business trips. So that's been a blessing for us. And it's just, we absolutely love to travel. So, and our kids have had some traveling outside of the country. So that's, it's good for them. I mean, they get to see different cultures, and, at the end of the day, we're all very similar, just trying to provide for our families and work and do good in our local communities. Doesn't really matter where you live. I think everyone is sort of in that same frame of mind. So, and I guess the other item I would share, it's embarrassing, but I'm an avid golfer. I'm not very good. I absolutely love it. Just love how golf is structured, where you're playing kind of against yourself. But this summer, my two boys, I have my oldest son is 23, Ethan. Cameron, our middle son, is 16. My daughter, Gabrielle, is 13. And my wife and I have been together 20 years. So my whole family has had the opportunity to beat me in golf over the summer. My oldest son started beating me many years ago. He's a good golfer. And my 16-year-old started beating me in the last 2 years. My daughter beat me for the first time this summer, and I immediately was frustrated with my game and went out and got some lessons from a buddy of mine. then my wife beat me, I think, about a month ago. So it's a humbling sport by any means, but I absolutely love it.
Hey, you know what? At least you admit all that stuff. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I mean, my daughter, just a few weeks ago, we were all out golfing on a Sunday afternoon at this local golf course, and all five of us were there. So we're breaking, these sacred golf rules by having not a foursome but a fivesome. And my 13-year-old, she gets up there on this par three, hits a nice shot, bounces right on the fringe, and then starts tracking right towards the hole. My 16-year-old jumps up out of his cart and starts running down the fairway to watch, and it went in. She had a hole in one. So first one in the family. She's 13. She was kind of in shock. We're like, wow, did that just happen?
That's amazing. I don't know, 39, no hole in one. I think I just saw where Terry Jennings from Financial Pacific just hit his 6th or 7th. And
wow.
Like, I don't know. I probably golf like 5 times a year, so it's just there. But anyhow,
I've been close a couple of times, but I'm older than you. I'm 49, and I don't have one yet. So someday maybe. But I again, I think there's a correlation that I'm not that good, so I'm not hitting the greens often enough to even get close like Terry and others out there.
That's fair. That's fair. And, thank you again, Chad, for joining me. I guess when it comes to NEFA and the association, any final thoughts in regards to why people should join?
Yeah, I mean, this is a tight-knit community. The organization's been around for a number of years, and we have great members that are willing to help each other. I see it day in and day out where emails are flying around and people are jumping in and helping other members, which I think is a testament to our membership and how they approach business. Even though someone may be perceived as a competitor, they're still willing to help each other. And I mean, I think that's just a testament to our members and the type of organization we have. We have some new groups that we're launching right now. Paul Fogel from Quality Leasing is heading up a funder CEO roundtable group, and I'm seeing some of the feedback there, and it's just amazing how willing people are to share. And we're getting ready to launch this month a new broker originator CEO roundtable. So that's coming soon, just to get our brokers together so they can share best practices. And at our conference in the fall, we're going to have a CEO roundtable Wednesday afternoon, sort of kicking off the conference. And Paul and his group and some others are putting together a really robust roundtable with CEOs from the industry. So there'll be an opportunity for people to learn and connect there. So I think overall the organization is very strong and healthy and thriving. And we're looking to our members to help us enhance the value proposition through their ideas with different initiatives that we may be missing. Because me and my team, we're not from the industry, so we're all ears if they have ideas for us.
Nope, and that makes complete sense. And I'm excited to see some of these things continue to grow. And then, with the new website coming out, the CRM and everything else, and just the good job that you and Blair have done in such a short period of time without being able to be in front of people is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything different than others out there in the industry. We've all had to pivot and adapt, and all of our companies are going to be stronger for it long term. So I see all the opportunities out in the marketplace for our members and the growth potential and how we can do business differently than what's been done in the past. I mean, those are all learning opportunities for us that we can take away and apply.
Well, I agree 100%. And I think probably the next time I will see you is probably in Charlotte. I'm assuming.
Look forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you again, Chad, for your time this morning, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
You too.